Well, hello and good morning, everyone. Good to have another opportunity of talking to you. And I'm looking this morning at the first book of Kings and chapter 18. And we read there about Elijah. Elijah was a man of God. He was a man who prophesied, who labored, who preached, who witnessed for the name of the Lord. And he had an enemy. And this enemy was a man called Ahab. Now, Ahab was a strong, mighty man, a ruler in Israel, and he didn't like Elijah at all. And his wife Jezebel liked him even less. And one day, they had a contest. You see, Elijah said, if God is God, serve him. But if Baal, now Baal was the idolatrous god, if Baal, then serve him. And so they had, on a mountain called Mount Carmel, they had this competition, if you like. And Elijah came to the people and said to them, how long are you going to be indifferent? How long are you going to be in this situation where you don't know which way to turn? You don't know who is the true God. And so he said, let us have 2 bullocks. And so they had these 2 bullocks, and they slew them, and they placed them on an altar. And Elijah said, you call on the name of your God, and if your God answers by fire, then let him be God. But don't you put the fire there yourself. And so they did. They cried unto Baal all day. They cut themselves, they wounded themselves as the manner of such was, and nothing happened. And then, late on in the day, Elijah said, bring the other bullock. And so he dressed this bullock, the carcass, put it on the altar, prepared it all for sacrifice. But he said, I'm not going to put any fire there. I'm going to ask the Lord to send fire. And so, to make it so obvious that this was of God, he dug a trench all round the altar, and he filled it with water, and he covered the whole sacrifice with water, absolutely drenched. And the water ran around, the trench was full. And Elijah then prayed and asked the Lord to appear for him. He said, if I'm your servant, then answer by fire. And the prophets of Baal had tried, and he had ridiculed them, made fun of them. But now he came and he called upon God. He called upon the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he said, hear me, O Lord, hear me. And the fire fell. It burnt the sacrifice. It burnt the wall. It burnt the altar. It burnt the stones that the altar was built. It licked up all the water and even the dust. And the whole thing was consumed. And the people realized that the God who answers by fire is the true God, is the living God. And so they said, yes, we will acknowledge him. We will acknowledge that he is God because he's answered. He's done the impossible. And you know that's still the same today. Our God is able to do the impossible. We're told, aren't we, in the Bible, that that which is not possible with men is possible with God. And so he gained a great victory. The prophets of Baal ran away and were defeated, and he alone was victorious because he honored God. He wanted the people to know that he was indeed the servant of the living God. Oh, that might be our desire, that we would have that desire that men may know whose we are and who we serve, that this God is our God, that he will be our guide even unto death. He is the one who was able to do far and abundantly above anything that we can ask or even think. Well, may you have faith in the living God. Trust him. He will not deceive you. Though you little of him deem, he will never, ever leave you, nor will let you quite leave him. Amen.